Nestled deep in the Appalachian Mountains, the small, forgotten town of Black Hollow lay shrouded in mist and mystery. Long abandoned, its decaying buildings and overgrown streets bore silent witness to the horrors that had once unfolded there. For decades, stories of the town's dark past had spread like wildfire, warning travelers to stay away. But one woman's curiosity would soon uncover the true terror that lay hidden within Black Hollow's shadowy depths. Sarah Bennett was an archaeologist with a passion for uncovering hidden histories. When she received an anonymous letter inviting her to Black Hollow, promising untold secrets and discoveries, she couldn't resist the lure. The letter spoke of a cursed town, a place where time had stood still and where the souls of the damned roamed freely. Intrigued and undeterred by the tales of terror, Sarah set out on a journey that would change her life forever. The journey to Black Hollow was treacherous, the narrow mountain roads winding through dense forests and steep cliffs. As Sarah drove deeper into the wilderness, the air grew colder and the trees seemed to close in around her. By the time she reached the town, night had fallen and a thick fog had settled over the landscape. The town was eerily silent, its crumbling buildings and empty streets casting long shadows in the moonlight. Sarah parked her car near what appeared to be the town square and began her exploration. The sense of foreboding was palpable, as if the very air were charged with unseen energy. Sarah found a small inn that, surprisingly, seemed to be in better condition than the rest of the town. Inside, she met an elderly man named Walter, the innkeeper, who warned her of the dangers that lurked in Black Hollow. He spoke of the curse that had befallen the town many years ago, a curse that had driven its inhabitants to madness and death. Ignoring Walter's warnings, Sarah settled into her room and prepared for her first night in Black Hollow. As she lay in bed, the silence was broken by faint whispers and the creaking of floorboards. She dismissed it as her imagination, but a deep sense of unease kept her awake. The whispers grew louder, forming words that seemed to call her name. Heart pounding, she ventured into the hallway, flashlight in hand. The inn's hallways were dark and labyrinthine, the air thick with the scent of mildew and decay. As Sarah moved deeper into the inn, the whispers seemed to surround her, echoing off the walls. She reached a locked door at the end of the hall, its surface scratched and battered. The whispers were loud as if a cacophony of voices pleading for release. Determined to uncover the truth, Sarah broke the lock and entered the room. Inside, she found an old, dusty journal lying on a table. The journal belonged to Margaret Blackwood, the last known resident of Black Hollow. As Sarah read through the pages, she discovered the horrifying story of the town's descent into darkness. Margaret wrote of a mysterious stranger who had arrived in Black Hollow many years ago. He claimed to be a healer, offering miraculous cures for the townspeople's ailments, but his remedies came at a terrible cost. The stranger was a practitioner of dark magic, and his treatments involved rituals that bound the souls of the townspeople to the town itself. Those who sought his help soon found themselves trapped in a nightmare, their minds twisted by the stranger's malevolent power. Margaret described how the townspeople had turned on each other, driven mad by the dark forces at play. The stranger's true intent was revealed too late, and by then the town was beyond saving. Black Hollow was abandoned, its cursed inhabitants left to wander the empty streets for eternity. Armed with the knowledge from Margaret's journal, Sarah set out to find more clues about the stranger and the curse. She explored the town, uncovering hidden passages and secret rooms in the abandoned buildings. Everywhere she went, she felt the presence of the trapped souls, their whispers growing louder and more desperate. At night, while searching the town's library, Sarah found a hidden compartment containing a collection of the stranger's books and artifacts. Among them was a grimoire, filled with dark spells and rituals. Paramore detailed the process of binding souls and offered a way to reverse the curse. But the ritual was dangerous, requiring the blood of a living person and the risk of unleashing even greater horrors. Determined to free the trapped souls of Black Hollow, Sarah prepared for the ritual. She gathered the necessary ingredients and made her way to the town square where the stranger had performed his dark magic. As she began the ritual, the air grew cold and the fog thickened, swirling around her like a living entity. The ground trembled and shadowy figures emerged from the fog, their faces twisted in agony. The whispers became screams, a chorus of tormented souls crying out for release. Sarah pressed on, chanting the incantations from the grimoire. The fog seemed to resist her efforts, pushing back with an almost sentient force. Just as she reached the final incantation, a figure appeared before her. It was the stranger, his eyes burning with malevolent power. He tried to stop her, but Sarah stood her ground, drawing strength from the soul she sought to free. With a final, desperate effort, she completed the ritual. Blinding light filled the town square, and the screams of the tormented souls reached a deafening crescendo. The stranger let out a howl of rage as he was consumed by the light, his form dissolving into nothingness. The fog lifted, and the cold air was replaced by a warm breeze. The souls of Black Hollow were finally free. Exhausted but triumphant, Sarah watched as the town seemed to come alive again. The buildings, once decayed and crumbling, began to restore themselves. The streets filled with light, and the oppressive darkness that had hung over Black Hollow dissipated. The curse had been broken. Sarah's experience in Black Hollow changed her forever. She wrote a best-selling book about her journey, sharing the town's dark history and the story of its redemption. The town itself became a symbol of hope and renewal, a place where the past was remembered but no longer haunted. Visitors came to Black Hollow, drawn by its history and the tale of its curse. The town flourished, its streets filled with life once more. And though the whispers of the past could still be heard by those who listened closely, they were now a reminder of the courage and determination that had saved Black Hollow from its darkest days. Sarah continued her work as an archaeologist, driven by the knowledge that even the most forgotten places could hold the power to change the world. Her time in Black Hollow had taught her that history was not just a record of the past, but a living force that shaped the present and the future. As long as she drew breath, she would dedicate herself to uncovering the hidden truths that lay buried beneath the surface of the world.